Last week, the professional wrestling world lost Mr. Brodie Lee, Luke Harper, John Huber. I'm not really sure the pronunciation on Brodie Lee's last name. What a devastating loss to the professional wrestling world. Dude was super talented. Like, super talented. You know, I was one of the few that maybe enjoyed his work with the Wyatt family in WWE and his Intercontinental title run, even though it was real short. You know, like, that was good stuff. But, man, did I love what he was doing as the Exalted One in AEW. That was awesome, you know, and by all reports, that was like a gamble on himself, you know, to go to AEW. Because, I mean, apparently, you know, he probably took a pay cut to do so, you know, and he's really just, like I said, he bet on himself to really have the opportunity to showcase his skills and his talent for the world. Man, he was good. Man, that match with Moxley, it was great. I could have done without the spot on the stage, though, where the stage collapsed after the paradigm shift. I could have done without that. I thought that was a little cheesy, but other than that, that match was phenomenal. And then, you know, the stuff with Cody for the TNT title, and then just how he squashed Cody to win the TNT title, and then Cody was gone for the... Man, that stuff was so good. And it's just sad. It's really sad that, like, we lost this guy. So much untapped potential, and he's just gone. You know, and reading all the stuff this week online, by all accounts, he was like a great human being, too. You know, this big, menacing, brooding heel. Everybody keeps saying the same thing. Like, he just loved his kids, and he just loved his wife, and he was like family man of the decade. Just all the stuff that I've seen, it's like, if there was a Mount Rushmore for professional wrestling fathers, he'd be on it 4 times. Just based on the stuff that I've seen this week alone, I feel that way. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe all this is being gassed up. But, you know, everybody is saying the same thing. JR even said on his podcast this week that he had never met somebody that was so universally liked by his peers as Brodie Lee. Literally, that's every single person that has ever met this dude or had some sort of interaction with this guy has said he was a special, one-of-a-kind type human being. And that means something to me. Because, you know, I sit here every week and I talk about the things that I don't like about wrestling. Literally everything you've read about this guy has been positive. I don't even know anybody in my personal life that I feel like literally every person that would, if they had an untimely death, would be like, oh, this was the greatest guy ever. Because there's always going to be that one person that's like, that guy was an asshole. But we're not getting that here. So, like, the wrestling world, man, we lost a gem, you know. And, like, I'm seeing all this stuff already. It's like, oh, I think that Adam Page should be the leader of the Dark Order. Oh, John Silver needs to be the leader of the Dark Order. Oh, they need to disband. Listen, guys, we're not talking about a wrestling storyline here. 2 kids just lost their father. A wife just lost her husband. And we're worried about a wrestling storyline? I just can't get behind that. There's all kinds of just, you know, shit being thrown around. Like, you know, what's his face? Kurt Hawkins or Brian Myers? Yeah, that's, I guess, Mr. the most professional wrestler. Talking about WWE should have done the 10-bell salute because, you know, we're hurting and we're grieving. You know what? Big ups to WWE for even acknowledging the fact that the man passed away. Because they didn't have to do that. If you really want to think about it, they didn't have to do that. They gave AEW an opportunity to say, hey, this was our guy. And we're going to honor his memory as a human being and a character in our organization. And we're going to knock it out of the park. I haven't even watched Dynamite yet. But what I have done is I have hit the old YouTube and I watched all the tribute stuff. And like, you know, you read the articles and all the stuff, you know, that's coming across your timeline on Facebook. They knocked it out of the park. Great job, AEW. That was awesome. But you know, I think the most disturbing part about all of this is what happened the day after Brodie Lee passed away. And that's this shit show that got released on Pro Wrestling Torch, written by Bruce Mitchell. Like, what kind of asshole do you have to be to write an article like that about somebody who just passed away, that has clearly affected and touched all of these lives? What type of asshole does that? I'll tell you who. Bruce Mitchell. Like, how inconsiderate. If you feel that way, Bruce, like, hey, more power to you, bro. Because that's what the world's all about. Everybody has opinions. And sometimes those opinions are bullshit. And sometimes those opinions are valid. I have opinions about a lot of things, but that doesn't always necessarily mean that they're right. But they're my opinion. And you're entitled to your opinion. Unfortunately, in this case, you should have kept your opinion to your damn self. Because this is not a wrestling angle, like I've already said. This is real life. This is reality. A man died, and all you're concerned about is the business covering up the fact that he had COVID. But you want to sit there and you want to say that this is why this happened, and you demand transparency because AEW is hiding something. The WWE is hiding something. John's wife Amanda is hiding something. What is your deal, pal? I'm gonna give you credit where credit is due. Okay? Your article was very well written. You could tell that you made sure that you didn't step over the line until you did. You spent the first half of the article reeling everybody in. Oh, Mr. Brodie Lee is the second coming of Bruiser Brody. Just this big, rough guy. You know, blah, blah, blah. It's sad that it happened. And I wish that it wouldn't have. Because you just look like an asshole, bud. And I know I'm just some dumb hillbilly from West Virginia, and it's not like anybody cares what my opinion is. But, you know, I have a platform, I have a camera, I'm going to give you my opinion, and the 10 people that are going to watch this are probably going to say, that guy's an asshole. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. But in my opinion, you, sir, are the asshole. And quite frankly, the fact that you had the audacity to post that column to Pro Wrestling Torch with zero regard for the feelings of a grieving wife, with zero regard for the feelings of 2 grieving children, and with zero regard for the feelings of the grieving athletes of the business that you cover, told me a lot of things. But the one thing that it told me is that you don't have any respect. You don't have respect for the business. You don't have respect for the talent. You don't have respect for the people's families and the sacrifices that they make so that the talent can entertain us as fans. And most importantly, Mr. Mitchell, you don't have any respect for yourself. Let me know what you think. Sound off in the comments below. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm the asshole. But anyway you slice it, this is my opinion. Until next time, I'm Walt. Thanks for hanging out. One Fall WrestleCast.